Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to SimAirport. I hope you're having a good one because I am excited to be back. Today is going to be the big day that we sit down and start working on a new airport. We're sitting on $45.1 million, which is going to mean that when we sell the airport, we're going to be getting just over $60 million to play with in terms, or when it comes to building a new airport. But you might be thinking to yourself, hold on a minute, how do you have $45 million? It's only day 103. Well, I'm very glad you asked. So I mentioned in the last episode that I wanted to wait around until we had about $50 million. And after about half an hour, maybe 45 minutes, I went from, say, $8.5 million to $12 million. And I could have just left the game running for hours on end, but I didn't feel like doing that. So I did some Googling, I did some tippity-tapping on the keyboard, and discovered that it's actually very easy to modify your save game in SimAirport. So I'm going to show you how to do that because that's what I did. I gave myself that money rather than just sitting around and waiting. So you want to click Load Game. And fun fact, I have saves in here from 2017. I have like my old series in here, which doesn't even have a preview available. But my most recent save is 2022-10. And if I go and browse my save folder, I can get a look at all of the saves as they are on my PC. So what I'm going to want to do now is go to the 2022-10.airport save file, which is this one right here. It is the most recent save, and I want to modify this. Now, what I'm going to want to do is open this in Notepad or Notepad++, or in my case, I'm going to use Visual Studio Code. So I can open with code, and it's going to bring all of this up. And this is a lot to look at and a lot to process. There's a lot of information in here. So in whatever you've used to open this, you want to press Control F, which is going to help you find something, and you want to type in current_balance. And once you've done that, there's only one place that current balance appears in this entire document. And you can see it sort of highlighted right here in the middle. And next to it is 45,072,552, which is exactly the amount of money that I have in my save. So if I go ahead and I just edit this number to whatever I want it to be, I save this, I load the save game, that's how much money I'm going to have in SimAirport that I can use to build my airport. So that's how you modify SimAirport save to give yourself all that money. Hopefully that's something you might be interested in doing. You can build yourself something huge, but let's go ahead and jump back into the game and have a little bit of fun. So before we get too carried away, I have made some changes to this airport, which I think are kind of important because I did learn something new, which is that you can make money through advertising. And there was actually a government grant that wanted me to do that. I'm not exactly sure what it was. I think it was this one. Profitable facilities, tier 3 in maximizing profits. And we can also go ahead and do this, and it's done already. Basically, we had to earn $600 from advertising in a day. I didn't know how that worked. So I went and did some tippity-tapping on the keyboard, went to Google and found out that you can make money from digital ad displays. And the way these work is they will generate money, I think, based on the number of passengers that go past it in a day. So it is just past noon at the moment, and we've had 6,000 passengers pass this today, or look at this today, I suppose. This one, 5,000, this one, 4,000, this one, 3,500. And you kind of get the idea. The busier the area that you put the advertising, the more money it's going to make. I also extended my ticketing area and added more ticketing kiosks to try and combat the issues with people not necessarily being able to get their flights in time. And I also went ahead and added more advertising to this area here and the main section of the terminal's departure area as well. And that's about it. That is all the changes that I've made. Now, before we go ahead and sell this airport, I think it might be a really good idea to do a little bit of research. So let's just go ahead and start looking at standby gates. Let's go for runway intersections. and let's figure out what exactly we're going to be doing and just have a look at this airport before we say goodbye to it forever. Because once we go ahead and start building a new airport, we're not going to have a lot of the perks that we currently have. You have to keep in mind that some of the features in this game are locked behind having a foreman or a chief financial officer or a sales representative. So we're going to have to make sure we can do everything that we can possibly do. We're also going to have to keep in mind that the ticketing desks, you can only chain 5 of them together before you can connect them to another conveyor belt. So we might want to set up 2 or 4 different sections of ticketing desks. Hell, we could probably set up 3 and maybe do something like 1 set of desks for small stands, 1 for large, and 1 for extra large, perhaps. Maybe that would be the way to do it. Maybe an extra set, so we have 4 in total, that's kind of a standby set of desks. I don't know. It's something we'll have to figure out. It would mean a lot more baggage handling, but that's another thing to keep in mind. Basically, what I want to do with the new airport is be as... I want to be very design focused, for one. I want to make the airport look interesting, but I also want it to be more functional than this one. I want it to kind of have more entrances so everybody can kind of spread out a bit better in the ticketing area. I want to make sure that we also have the extra, I guess, road coming in here, which, looking at it, it looks like I can just go ahead and slap a second road on there, which might not be a bad idea. Basically, I just want to make it efficient. I want to make sure nobody's missing their flights. I also want to build it with security above the ticketing space right off the bat, because I think that's going to be the best way to do things. So we'll see how that ends up going as well. Hopefully it goes well. I'm thinking that what we could probably try and do as well is, well, actually, here's a question. Can we... So what is this? Small gate stairs. Add stairs to your small aircraft gate, making it accessible exclusively from the second floor. So here's what I'm thinking with this, right? Here's my... Oh, requires foundation on the first floor. But okay. So here's what I'm thinking with this. What if we make it so that all of my gates are exclusively accessible from the second floor? And then instead of doing all of my baggage handling like this thing underground, we just do that in the terminal building underneath the departures area. Or, well, I guess we could do both. I was going to say, or we make that arrivals, but I guess everybody getting off a plane is going to have to come into the departures area. So I guess what we do is we just periodically put stairs down into a corridor, very similar to what I did in Airport CEO. So that should work out. I think that'll be fine. And looking at this, I think we're going to be waiting a minute for this research to be done. So let's get that done. We'll have everything researched and we will, I guess, get ourselves a new airport. And just like that, all of the research is done, which is a pretty big deal. There's going to be some things in there that I don't know about, some things I've got no idea how to use, but that's fine. I think it's time, to be completely honest. I think it's time that we go ahead and maybe look at getting $61 million by selling this airport and starting again. I don't know if I want to click this button, but I'm going to. We're going to sell it. And as though it's some weird kind of Groundhog Day thing, we're back with an empty map, and I don't know how to feel about it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clear out all of these zones because we just don't need them right now. Well, actually, in saying that, we probably do need to get deliveries in here. So we'll put a nice sort of 10 by 10 delivery space down there, and we'll do something like a 10 by 10 storage space right next to it for the time being. We're also gonna want to go ahead and hire ourselves a bunch of workmen. I'm gonna go for 100 of these guys so that we can... Requires a drop-off zone. Okay, well, we can do that as well. So drop-offs are going to be there for now. We'll hire that. It's going to be kind of expensive, but probably worth it so that we can go ahead and build everything relatively quickly if and when we decide to build. Oh my God, that's slightly terrifying. Okay. So here's my thinking. First and foremost, we can't expand anything right now because we don't have a chief operations officer or whatever that means with an office. So we're slightly screwed in that sense. We're kind of dealing with the land that we have, but that's okay because eventually we can go ahead and sort of expand out this way and expand up that way or whatever we need to do. But for now, what I think I want to do is take my time and I'm going to plan everything. Now, something I'm considering is the idea that we could build the airport with roads that sort of come over this way and along the bottom and go back. And I sort of like that idea. I like the idea that we're going to have people get off the trains and sort of cross over and come down here to get into the airport so that traffic isn't necessarily going to be backing out onto this main road. So in doing that, I guess what I should do is probably clear this bit of zoning out of here. So this goes away and we're going to want to go to operations or something. We're looking for a road basically. So this guy right here, I think what we'll do is we will put a second road in here and this bit needs to be canceled because it's not facing the right way. We'll put a second bit of road in here and we'll just go for 2 lanes that come right down and we'll see how that goes. We'll see if it ends up working out. In terms of bringing traffic over, I think I'm going to give this a shot. I think we're going to try and bring traffic across here. So actually what I want to do is move all of these zones somewhere else. So let's go ahead and put drop-offs right, I guess, here for the time being. Let's do storage, I guess, here. It doesn't, well, that's all drop-offs actually. We'll do drop-offs there. We'll do storage, I guess, here, and we'll do deliveries just there. So that'll all kind of be out of the way. Those guys can head up and do their thing. It is looking awfully like, well, hopefully these roads line up the way I'd want them to. I imagine they'll get built very, very quickly, given how many workers we have. It shouldn't take too long to do this. And looking at it down here, yeah, it all connects straight out. So that's absolutely perfect. Okay. Let's get a little bit busy. Let's start figuring out what we're doing here. So my initial thinking is I'm gonna go to about, say, well, actually, before I do any of that, I should probably figure out where the roads can come in. So let's pause for a second and let's say that this road is gonna come in. I'm gonna say here. I'm gonna say right here, and I'm gonna bring it 100 units across. I'm going to bring it, say, 20 units, actually 16 down, because that entire length here will be 20. And I'm going to just take it back. And that's going to be the way sort of into the airport. We can do some sections that cut across here so traffic doesn't have to go the entire direct length of this, but that's roughly what that's going to be. So in terms of planning now, we're going to want some sidewalks on this. We're going to want some crosswalks on this as well. So what we'll do is throw some crosswalks just here and we'll get some sidewalks going as well. So the sidewalk, I'm thinking, should honestly be pretty chunky. I think the sidewalk could probably be, well, actually, no. The sidewalk can be like this. So it's going to come over, or it's going to come over, it's going to come down, and it's going to be the entire length of this road. It's going to go the entire way down there and the entire way across here. I don't know if it needs to do that, but it's going to do that. It's also going to have a crossing there, and we're going to say sidewalks on the inside as well for some reason. Not really sure why, but we're going for aesthetics, so that's fine. And I guess crosswalks can go here and here, and I guess we could probably do them at the ends as well. And we'll do them somewhere in the middle as well, but for now, that's okay. Speaking of the middle, we kind of need to pick a midpoint for the terminal. So planning wise, I'm going to use cyan for the doors. And I think what I'll do is say that the middle door can be right here. And I want to do some sections of wall that go like this on either side. Actually, let's do this. right? So we'll go something like that. These bits are going to be windows. This is going to stick back out. And this is going to go, say, 10 units there and 10 units there. And we want to sort, is that 10 right there? It's 11. That's fine. We'll go 12 in total for this front section. It's going to cut back. And I could probably push this back even further if I really wanted to, which I kind of do. I want to get some, I do want to get some details in here. So we'll push it back a little bit further. And this is going to be another door. And this is also going to be another door. And I guess we go and we say, you know, another section of planned wall. That's not quite what I was looking for. So this right here, we want to go 12 again and in. And I'm kind of comfortable with this being sort of the side of the airport terminal. We can maybe do some offices on the side of this. We could maybe do some toilets on the side of this, but that's not too bad. And I realize I've been quite lazy with this door here. That's not at all what I was planning on doing. So I'll tell you what, let's clear this guy out and let's do this same thing. So we want to go 3. So let's see, 1, 2, 3 and back out, I think. And then the door goes here. We want to do sort of the mirror image. So this 3 and back out. And this section should be 11 across and back in. And what we'll do is we'll just have 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll just have 4 doors in the front of this place. So this section should be 12. So this section should be 12 as well. And that's going to be sort of the width of the entire entrance part of the terminal. There's no central door. There's sort of the 2 main ones. And then there's sort of 2 additional doors on the sides as well, which honestly we could probably make smaller. So maybe these doors are going to be 2 across, with these main ones being a bit bigger. And maybe one of these guys could be for arrivals. That's always an option. Maybe this entire space isn't for ticketing, but I kind of like the idea that it would be. So we'll see. We'll see what it ends up being, but I think this is a pretty solid layout. The next thing I want to do is I want to look at getting vending machines and information in here. So I think what we can do with this space is we can probably go, oh, we should do shops too. We should definitely do some shops. But I think, let's see. I guess the shops could be these bits, right? So we could maybe do, maybe this comes in a little bit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe we do the same thing here. We could get kind of 3 shops across the front of this, which might be a little bit weird because generally speaking, you don't want to be buying things before going through security. So I don't know if we necessarily do want 3 shops here, but I'm kind of willing to give it a shot. Maybe the middle one could be a cafe as well. So we'll go another 2 at either side and see if that kind of works out. This is going to be a little bit more cramped than I'd like it to be, but I think we'll manage. Let's go another 2. And you know what? Let me just go straight across here with the planning so I can get it all nice and even. Cut these guys off here. And I suppose what we do is we can just leave these open, right? So we could, I don't want to leave them too open. That's kind of the thing. I don't want to leave them too open because I don't want people walking through the shops when they should be kind of going around them. So we'll leave the front ends open like this, assuming that that's something I can do in this game. I don't remember. And that'll be fine. So you can sort of come in, you can go to the shop, or you can go up into the main ticketing space. In terms of flight information, I think it would be a really good idea to do info displays kind of flanking the shops a little bit. So as people are coming into the airport, they're going to be getting a bunch of flight information as they go. And we could probably go ahead and do some seating here as well, just next to these. I don't think it's vitally important that we do that, but sometimes it's nice. You get to the airport, you've been rushing to get there, you want to have a seat right away, so that'll be okay. We can do a bit of seating at the sides of the doors. We've got our flight info display. We get the shops, which will be these spaces here. So now we need to figure out where people go to get their tickets, and that's kind of the big thing. So let's push these walls back a little bit further, and honestly, looking at it, we could probably make this this could probably be a bathroom or something. In fact, what size is this? This is 12 across, so 6 and 6 is going to give us a wall down the middle, which isn't really great. So yeah, this might have to be, well, actually, no. Let's do it this way. So make that 11. we'll clear this bit out. And what we can do is this should be 11 now. So if we go to 6, that's our midpoint. We can make this into 2 bathrooms is what that can be. So we'll have 2 bathrooms there. And on this side, we can do exactly the same thing. So it goes to here. We want to find 6 across, which is here. And we want to do a couple of doors. So you can get your flight info. You can get your seating. You can go to the bathroom. It's definitely a bit cramped coming in through these side doors, but that's okay. And actually, let me just clear out the flight info from these 2 spaces. And I think that'll be fine. I think that's pretty good. So bathrooms, shops, well, shop, cafe, shop, bathrooms, now into the main sort of concourse, the main area. We got to figure this out. So this is right in the middle of the airport. What size is this? 8. So if I go to 4 and 4, this right here is the middle line for this area. So what I'm thinking we do is we have a look at the ticketing kiosks or the ticketing desks, and we try and space these out. Now, these things are 2 across, 1 back, or if I rotate them, they're, 1 by 2, but whatever. I think what we do here is we go to planning. I think we assign, I think we'll just use, let's see, let's just use pink for this. I think we go to here-ish. And I think we assign a little sort of 2 by 3 or 3 by 2 space for all of these, because what that's going to do is let me have a queue that sort of goes up, down, and back up. And what we'll do is go for 5 of these little zones here, and we'll do another 5 on this side. And that's going to be 2 check-in zones. And I think that's pretty good. And then I guess we can go sort of, well, I guess if we leave a gap of 2, can I get another 5 of these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I absolutely can. And we have a bit of space down the side here. In fact, if I was to move these over, we'd have 3 tiles available here and 3 tiles between these. But I think, I think we will do that actually. We'll just move these over a little bit. So it's like this, and it's a little bit more even, a little bit more balanced. So a gap of 3 there, a gap of 3 there. We can do exactly the same thing on this side. And that's going to give us our 4 check-in zones. And I think that's pretty solid. So that gives us, how many desks? 20. And then the queues are basically just going to be something like, I don't know, 3 by 10, maybe 3 by 8. Honestly, for the queues on these guys will be completely fine. And we can figure out, I guess, the ticketing kiosks at some point as well. I'm kind of aware that I've not left a lot of space for those, but at the same time, I'm thinking that maybe kind of in here. So if I was to say that maybe there's some ticketing kiosks there, maybe there's some ticketing kiosks there as well. I think that's probably, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 12, 24 ticketing kiosks is probably not too bad. That's a pretty solid number of them. So I'm not super stressed about not having, 100 ticketing kiosks. I think 24 will be enough for people to check in. So we'll go ahead and mark out where the queues are going to go, which is going to be all that space. We still have a good amount of empty space in here, but I think my idea would be to use these bits here for more flight info displays, because we want to make sure everyone knows when their flights are and where they need to be. And I think what we can also do is probably go ahead and put more flight info displays at the back of these desks. So let's try and figure out how we want to space those. In fact, where exactly are the conveyor belts? The conveyor belts are on the right side. Well, they're not going to be on the right side for all of them, actually, because they're going to be in the middle for these guys, which is slightly annoying. Unless I don't make these, oh boy, I might have to sacrifice perfect symmetry for something that makes a bit more sense in terms of these flight info displays. I think what we do, I mean, it's not going to be symmetrical regardless, I suppose, with the way the conveyor belts are going to be. So I think what we do is we put these guys on the left side of these pink zones. So the conveyor belt is always going to be right in the middle. And I think that means the queues are going to have to start on the left side, come back up and down. So that way people are going to be walking from the queue directly to the desk without having to do some weird stuff to get there. They're not going to be turning. They're not going to be walking around. They're just going straight from the queue to the desk. So that'll be fine. And I guess I've slightly screwed myself with these flight info displays, actually, because there's now not really the perfect bit of room to place them, but I think we'll manage. I'm also realizing that we're probably going to need a little bit of space at the back here to actually have all of these conveyor belts dip down. So what we can do with these, I suppose, is... Now that, I think, is going to be... How does this work? Wait, what does this do in conveyor? Wait, oh, I have to... Oh, it has to be inside. Okay, so never mind that. Let's use planning to figure out what the conveyor belts are going to do. So we use the yellow here. I'm thinking they all go back. I'm thinking they all connect across like this. And I think they go underground there. So this guy goes to about that spot. These guys go up a little bit like this and cut across. And I think we can probably get away with doing that here as well. And this will give us symmetry with the conveyor belts at the very least. So that's kind of good news. It's not really important that we have that symmetry, but that'll give us symmetry. And they all go underground, they'll connect to a system, and we'll figure it out. I guess that does slightly go against my idea of having the baggage handling stuff above ground, but it's still technically possible, because I guess if I do this a certain way, that's actually completely possible, right? So instead of these going underground, what if they just go to holes in the wall that go into the baggage handling space? Because then what we can do with this area is, instead of these guys all, you know, going into a security space, what if we said that in the, oh, how am I going to do this? I think all of the passengers are going to have to go down to the side of the airport. I think that's going to be a big thing. Because what I want to do is I want to have escalators and I want to have stairs. And those are, in this orientation, 2x3. So let's go to here, I guess, and say that that's going to be 2 sets of escalators, and that's going to be a set of stairs. And then down at the other end, we want to go 2 sets of escalators and a set of stairs. And I'm kind of glad I left this space here, because that's actually letting me do that. Now, the way this will work, and I don't think it's necessarily going to work like that. This is actually going to have to come down a little bit. So this space is going to be fairly useless. This might be an electrical room or something like that. I'm not too sure, but we'll figure it out. This space here, kind of a similar story. It's not really going to be all that useful. But I think what we do is we go ahead and put a nice sort of big chunky door right there. We bring this wall out. That's not a wall. We bring the wall out and down. And we do exactly the same thing on this side. So we bring the wall out and down. And basically everyone that checks in this space will go up these escalators or stairs into an area above the ticketing space, right? That's kind of my thinking. So let's just mark out all of this space up above here, because that's going to be kind of important. So that goes there. Let's just try and do this properly. It's going to be a total pain to keep going back and forth like this, but it's all right. We're going to have a pretty cool looking airport at the end of this, I think. Okay, so this is probably excessive for security. We probably don't need all of this space. So what we could potentially do is put a line across here and have this area become our departures space. Hell, we could probably do here and have this area become the departure space. But I think I'll go for the slightly larger option, and we'll see how that turns out. But I'm not 100% sure, because we don't have all of this space yet. And also you have to keep in mind, we don't have offices yet. And that is something that we're absolutely going to want. So what if we build sort of a visitor center type thing over here, sort of opposite the main entrance to the airport. Because we're not going to build a multi-story parking lot, right? That's not going to be a thing. But a sort of visitor center thing could be, and that could look kind of interesting. So let's do this, and let's say that this can be a door, and that this can be a door as well. And we'll go to this side, and we'll say sort of the same thing. So that's going to be a bunch of doors. We'll do a little door in the middle, and this way we can have this kind of weird looking building going on. We can put offices in here. Well, depending on the size. What are we looking at here? We're looking at 10 across. So 5. Okay, doing offices in here is actually going to be a bit of a pain. That's unfortunate. Okay. I'm actually not 100% sure what way to do this. I might break my usual... Well, I was going to say I break my rule and go for some 1x1 corridors, but I don't really feel like doing that. So I think what we'll do is we'll build a couple of, let's see, from there, 8. From there, we want to go 8. We'll go for 9. We'll build a couple of meeting rooms kind of at the side. And then if we look at the offices, it has to be a fully enclosed space with a door. So if we go back to planning, I mean, the offices don't have to be huge. That's kind of the big takeaway. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, the offices can kind of get away with being that small, right? They're not exactly luxurious, but they'll do the job. So I think that's kind of what we're gonna do, is little 3x3 offices and see how that turns out. I know I've just messed one of them up there. So I think that's kind of the way we go for it, is these little 3x3 offices. That's going to give me, what is that? 12 of them. And then this middle space can be open for something else. It's not that many offices, really. It's nowhere near as many as I was expecting, but that's probably okay. So I think what we'll do is we'll do some doors down here and here for the meeting rooms. The offices are all going to have doors sort of on the middle of the room, and we'll do some windows in here as well to make it look kind of interesting. And I guess, actually thinking about it, let's go upstairs. Let's do that, because we can go and do some stairs there and an escalator right there, and then basically just build this exact same thing up above. So if we do something like this, yeah, that's actually fine. That gives us a good little space. Nope, not underground. That gives us a good little space to get plenty of offices in here, and should keep the airlines relatively happy. And it means I can actually get bigger meeting rooms upstairs. I keep pressing the wrong button. Bigger meeting rooms upstairs when compared to the ones downstairs. In fact, I think I can get more offices up here too. I keep pressing the wrong button. I think I can get more offices up here too. So let's try this. Let's go a little bit more cramped up here. So I was right. We can. One of them's a little, well, the end ones are a little bit bigger than the other ones, but that's okay. That's going to give us a whole bunch more offices, and that makes me kind of happy. So that's going to be our sort of visitor center thing. I realize visitor centers technically need receptions, so we might need to tweak this a little bit, but I'm not gonna stress too much about that right now. We'll figure it out. We can edit the building if necessary later on, but that's a pretty good layout. That gives us a bunch of offices. And actually, I want to build this first because I can go and hire all of my executives. And if I hire all of my executives, I can start getting all the perks that come with hiring all of my executives. So we'll get this thing going. We'll get the executives in here. We've spent $500,000 building this already, so that's exciting. And I think, to be honest, let's do this as well. I think it's about time that we blocked by ticketing desk. Oh no, 1.5 million for this. Oh my god, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. 1.5 million for all of that. Let's get it done. We have the money to spend. It's what it's here for. It's just a lot of money. You know, it's kind of nuts what you can get done with 100 workmen and $60 million. It's kind of crazy. We've got the second floor going on to the, I guess, visitor center at the moment. The entirety of the lower floor of the terminal is done. There's certain bits need removed. And we're pretty much ready to go ahead and start doing the upper floor now as well. So, wait, why do we have... Hold on a minute. Why does it seem like they are on both floors? They are not. They're just bugged. That's an interesting bug. I'll tell you what. Let's dismantle those since we don't actually need them right now. And that'll get them to disappear from the upper floor as well. So that's fine. We can also go ahead and we can dismantle this entire section of wall right here because we don't need it either. And I believe that's all of the weird bits of wall now gone. It certainly looks to be. And I guess we go upstairs and we start putting in the foundation for the rest of this place. So let's do this. Let's do this. And we need to do, I guess, the entire rest of the building. So that right there. And we'll get it all built in good time. So while that's going on, let's start looking at doors for the offices because I have got some walls down in here. So we're just going to go ahead and dot these guys on the fronts of each of these, just like so. We'll get the sliding doors for the meeting rooms, and then we want an escalator. Actually, I guess we're just going to do stairs for both of these. So we'll do a stairway going, I guess, up right there and a stairway going. Oh, I see how that works. Yeah, we're just going to do two sets of stairs that lead up into this space, and that should be fine. In terms of additional construction, we're just going to go ahead and say that we want a wall the entire way across these sections here and through all of these bits. So we'll bring it down just a little bit, and that'll give us all of our offices, some extra meeting rooms. Obviously windows need to go onto this, but that's fine. And it gives us a way to get up there, and I think it's kind of a cool looking space. I've got to be honest. I really like how this has turned out. As for this space, coming together in good time, so no worries there. We just need to get some doors. So a nice large sliding door there and there. A regular one there and down here as well. And then we need the large ones for the spaces up to security as well. So that works out. That gives us all of the doors, none of the windows, none of the furniture, and all of the foundation for, I guess, ticketing, check-in, 2 shops, a cafe, 4 bathrooms, potentially some maintenance rooms, and a whole bunch of offices, which I think is pretty good. I think that's a pretty good little setup right there. So let's go ahead and start zoning some offices because we are going to need them. And hopefully they're not too small, and they're not. Fantastic. So an office desk can go there, there, and there. An office chair can go in these spots right here. And we'll grab ourselves some windows, and I'm just going to line the backs of the offices with some windows to make them a little bit fancier. They are going to be relatively miserable, and airlines are not going to enjoy having crappy offices, but they're just going to have to deal with it. They are just going to have to deal with it, to be quite frank, because I'm not really too interested in making huge offices right now. I probably could. We have, you know, $55 million to play with. There's not really any excuse for terrible offices, but they're getting terrible offices right now. So that's just going to be the way of it. Now, let's also go ahead and put some windows on these offices upstairs so that they're all nice looking as well. We'll go to some nice big windows on the backs of the 4 wide offices. And for here, let's do a window there and there. And I guess across here and here as well. And this bit and this bit. That should be good. That should be a pretty good setup for all of this space. I'm actually really excited to see some, I guess, administrative staff start coming in here. It's already starting to feel like a real thing. It's already starting to feel like we're really building another airport rather than me just starting the game all over again. I'll be honest. I don't think I'm ever going to start this game with 0 cash again. I think every single time I'm just going to use that method of editing my save file to give myself as much money as I want. Because that was kind of nice. I'm not going to lie. It was kind of nice. All right. Let's get a foreman. And what else do we need for this? We need a COO. So let's get ourselves a COO so we can get some land. And I guess we should just get the rest of them, right? We need four more offices. So if I go here and I say clone, and I just want to say, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, we can just sort of do it this way. Obviously, we haven't got any of the flooring into any of this space yet, but I think they'll. Oh, wrong button. I think they'll live, right? I think they'll manage. So these ones are going to be a little bit off center, which is fine by me. These guys are going to be down here like this, and that seems good. So let's grab the office zoning for all of these guys and all of these guys and all of these ones as well. We'll do the same thing downstairs so that we can go ahead and get the rest of our execs. So sales representative, we don't need any right now. A CFO is going to be needed. We're going to need a CTO and a finance VP. So they can all come in. They can all do their thing. They've all got their offices. And that should mean that we can now do everything. And that's a terrifying thought. But I'm also kind of excited about it. I'm not going to lie. So let's figure out how this is going to work. Because I realize that this little extension here ever so slightly imposes on where we would probably want to drop people off. So maybe we don't do 2 escalators. Maybe we do 1 on each side, or we rotate them. Ah, boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Or maybe we've just taken up way too much space. Because looking at it, I've realized what we could do. Hold on a minute. Let's do some demolition here. So let's demolish this. And let's demolish this. Because it turns out we actually probably don't need that space. So that's all gone. This can now go away. And once this is all gone, we can do exactly the same thing. So this all goes away as well. And the reason I'm thinking this is because what I can really do is I can go, you know, escalator up, right? And we go, say, 1, 2, 3. And we go down to this end and we say 1, 2, 3. We go and get ourselves some stairs for this space as well. We say 1, 2, and we say 1, 2. And if I grab myself a wall, I can just sort of box that in a little bit. And it's not really the plan. It's obviously kind of going against the plan that we had, but it does save the space over here for drop-offs. And I think that's probably for the best if we kind of save that space. And it does take up a little bit of space from security, which honestly is probably for the best as well. So all we need to do is just bring a wall that kind of goes like this and a wall that kind of goes like this. And people can kind of just get into security from these spaces. In fact, what distance is this? 10? We could probably do some bathrooms here. So if I went to here, for example, in fact, if I went and did this, so we'll go for the 4 wide door, as we always do. We can essentially go 1, 2, 3, 4. That is not what I was looking for. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And we can do some small bathrooms, right? They're not going to be the most luxurious, but they'll exist, and that's better than not having any. So you can come upstairs, you can go to the bathroom before you get into the queue for security. We can sort of block this bit off as well. And essentially, we can now say that security is a bit smaller, which is probably better. And these spaces can be used for shops or cafes or whatever we want. So I like that. I think I actually prefer that. And it now also means that I can go and say, you know, I want sidewalks along this this entire space here. And I think that's going to be better as well. Because what we can do is, well, actually we don't, you know, I'm an idiot. We don't need that because people are getting dropped off in, duh, that's why I built this. Oh God. Sometimes, I swear, sometimes my genius terrifies even me. Oh man. Okay, that's fine. All right. So I guess this is a drop-off zone and this is a drop-off zone. And I guess we can say that this is a pickup zone. And I guess we could technically do pickups down here as well. So let's say pickups go right there. And let's say pickups can also go, I guess, right about here as well. So we can have a few different areas for pickups. We should probably double up the roads for that, but for now it's okay. I'm not really too worried about it. And I guess for security, we say that this entire space is security. I guess we say that this is going to be a cafe. I guess we say that this is going to be a store, and this is going to be a store as well. Do they have to be enclosed? I don't think they do. No, they don't. That's good. Okay. And then we go for ticketing, which is going to be essentially, I guess all of this is going to be ticketing. Well, actually, no, let's zone that a little bit more effectively. All of this, we'll zone them individually. So that's ticketing. So is this, or rather all of this. All of that is ticketing. And then this little area is going to be a ticketing zone, and so is this. And that's fine. So that gives us ticketing. That gives us more to work on. I guess we want to say, you know, female restrooms there. We can say male restrooms here. And that is a lot to work on. That really is. Let's see. Visitor reception. Oh, boy. I do need to build one of those. I really do. We'll figure that out. I'm not super stressed about it right now. Okay. Okay. This seems like a decent start. This does seem like a decent start. I think what's probably going to happen is we're going to have a lot of shops kind of in this space. I think we can build like a duty-free thing. And my thinking here is that we want to bring these walls out a bit further. So sort of 10, I guess, and across, maybe a little further. Actually, we'll go like 13 in total and across. And that's just going to be a lot of space for baggage handling, for electronics, for all that stuff. Because what I can do is I can then go upstairs, and that is going to be, I guess, extended this way. And that's where a lot of our, I suppose, stands are going to end up going. They're going to be sort of down this general direction. So we can do this. And, you know, we have this space for shops as well. The airport's definitely not going to have the shape that I was hoping for. It's not going to be as big as I thought it was necessarily going to be. But I guess, I mean, I can just buy this, right? So just buy the land. We're going to get the error about my mods, aren't we? Yeah, here we are. All right. So we can buy that land. We can buy this bit of land as well. We've still not even spent $10 million. So I'm not super stressed about this. Let's just buy land. Okay, that seems like a pretty good amount of space for the time being. We've now spent over $10 million. And we have a lot of fences that need to be demolished as well, but that's happening pretty quickly. Let's get this road back in here as well. So that's all connected up nicely. And I've also left this little square so we can kind of see where the middle of the main terminal section is going to be. So I guess what we can do, and I realize I haven't blocked in anything for seating here, but I guess what we can do at the very least is start putting in some flight info displays. We don't have all the walls in here yet either, but we can do the info displays. We can get these kiosks. Can I close the airport? Is that a thing? Is closing the airport an option? Because I don't want people, I guess it's not going to be active until we have runways. So we'll put these kiosks in here so we can, you know, have them available. So those live there. We want to go back to objects and ops. We want to get ourselves more large flight info displays. We want to put them over here as well. And then in terms of benches, I'm thinking we're going to stick with these blue ones because I do kind of like them a lot. So they can kind of go in those spaces. And then I guess what we do is sort of just stack them across here a little bit. So there's not going to be that many of them, really. I mean, well, I say that. There actually looks like there might be a really good amount of them. But I don't know how good this layout's going to be for benches. I'm not really expecting people to be kind of chilling in the ticketing area anyway. I think for the most part, people are probably going to be quite keen to get checked in and get their flight. So hopefully we don't run into an issue where people can't find somewhere to sit. Because every time I have wanted to sit somewhere in an airport and there's nowhere available, I do get quite miserable. So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. That should be enough, though. That should be fine. So we have those displays going in. Let's get ourselves these walls for the cafes and for the stores, or the cafe and the stores. So we'll get these guys here. And I like this. I like this a lot. I'm going to be honest. I'm excited to see this working, but in saying that, it is going to take a bit of time, and I am going to take my time with this. So what that means is I am going to leave it there for today, and I know that might be a little bit frustrating. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm not even convinced this airport's going to be opening in the next episode. I think the next episode is going to be another planning and building episode before we open it in the one thereafter. Because I have to figure out baggage again, because I don't remember exactly how that works. So it's going to be a process is what I'm getting at. It is going to be a bit of a process. I'm also tempted to be a little bit cheeky here, because I'm realizing I can sort of do something. So if I go to road and I say, you know, bring a road in. Oh, wait, no, I can't do that. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, I got a little carried away here. Here's what I'm wanting to do. I want to bring a road right up against the building. All right. And I want it to go back like this. And I'm guessing I can probably dismantle that sidewalk, because we're not gonna be needing that, if it'll ever let me do that. There we go. So demolish that sidewalk, right? So we have this road. That's great. That's kind of what we needed. I do need a crosswalk as well, so that people can kind of walk up and down here without issue. We don't need it on that side, but we'll do it anyway. And my reasoning for this is I want to move my deliveries from where they are right now to this space down here. So right about there for deliveries should be pretty solid. It means the trucks have to come in and get off the main road, and that's kind of what I want. Then storage is going to be kind of a similar setup. So let's clear all of that out. Let's move storage to here for the time being, and I think that'll be fine. It's not exactly ideal. It's not exactly the neatest, but it kind of gets everything a bit closer together. And oh man, I'm excited for this. I'm actually really excited for this. So we are going to leave it there for today, for sure. Otherwise, this episode could end up being way too long. And every time I say that, I get comments that are like, man, I would watch a 2-hour episode of City Skylines or SimAirport. Let me tell you something. The YouTube algorithm, you might watch it, but the YouTube algorithm is not going to be happy about it. So we're going to deal with the fact that this is going to be a multi-episode build. But I'm excited. I also, to be completely honest, I also kind of want to try and not have this just be a clone of the other airport, but bigger. Because the other airport was just a terminal that kind of ran down the side. So I'm almost tempted to make a really drastic change. I'm almost tempted to see what would happen if we try and do a single sort of column with stands on either side. What if I buy this bit of land? What does that do? Can I just build over there, or does it move the road? Because I actually don't. Okay, so it doesn't move the road, so I don't know why I would buy that bit of land over there. I guess I could buy another, I could build another like section of airport, but we're not going to worry about that. This will do for now. This will do for now. We're going to leave the episode here because, like I said, it's going to go on for a bit if I don't. So thank you for watching, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. And as always, I will see you next time. Bye-bye.